What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to On the Break. We got a good one coming to you. So, Trevon, it was a really good game in Phoenix, man. I'm really enjoying this series. It's a lot of things that are interesting about this series. The matchups seem to be great, and the teams are really going at each other. The intensity is high, and you're seeing a lot of good basketball being played and a lot of skilled plays, a lot of skilled players showing off their talents and what they're good at. So, what is your takeaway from game two of that um, series and going in from game one to game two? What were some differences that you saw there?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Honestly, it's just a matter of fact of the Suns hitting shots. They're gonna take those mid ranges all game long, and they don't do too much drive and kick. If they do, it somehow seems like it always falls in the hand of like a Torrey Craig. I know that's by design for the Clippers, but they're literally like hunting for that mid range shot. Everybody, like KD, Book, CP3, even Aiton off of the like short roll, if somebody hits them, they're not really going to the basket. They'll shoot threes, when it's open. A lot of role players are taking those threes. Devin Booker had it going from three last night. Kevin doesn't mind spotting up. Same with CP. But if that mid range is not falling at a consistent rate, they're not going to win. They don't have the best defense. They don't really have the tools to really defend the Clippers because honestly, from the two games I watched, I went back and rewatched. The Clippers are just going one on one when they get a matchup that they like. They'll do a little action, a little screening, but when they feel like they have an advantage, they're just going at whoever's in front of them. If they feel like they have a good advantage, even Russell Westbrook had a good game. It, I know the Clippers have Kawhi and a lot of other good scorers, but Phoenix just doesn't have it defensively. It really makes me question them as far as making the deep playoff runs and even making the finals. I just don't see it right now. I know you have the top end talent, but what I'm seeing is their star players like Durant, Booker, they're having to exert a lot of energy defensively. Like they are the defensive players on that team right now. You have guys like Torrey Craig, who has played a great first two games, honestly, hitting from the three, doing everything they need. But I just don't think it's that sustainable. I saw a stat saying that the Clippers, I mean, not the Clippers, I'm sorry, the Suns shot like 60 something percent in the mid range or effective field goal percentage. I'm not really into the metrics and all that or the statistical stuff like that. And the Clippers shot like 33 from mid range. And the Clippers were in that game. And I think the Clippers shot around that same percentage in the first game, and the Suns shot around in the 30s and they lost. So if they're not hitting that mid range jumper, they're not going to win. They're going to have to really outscore teams, get some key stops. Another takeaway, I already mentioned Torrey Craig. I feel like he needs to be recognized. Russell Westbrook had it offensively while also doing similar stuff to what he did in game one. So you have to commend him for what he's been doing. I feel like he's been a good addition because he's such an opposite player to what that roster was full of on the Clippers side that he's able to fit well with those guys. He's able to have the ball in his hands. He's able to feel like he's involved, opposed to what he did with the Lakers. So, yeah, it's just a matter of who's going to hit their shots. And also, Kawhi Leonard, he's been reminding us that dude has been going to work. And like it's really having an effect on the whole Clippers team. Phoenix did a better job of trying to get the ball out of Kawhi's hands, which is also a part of why they won that game. They're gonna have to play team defense, but if they don't do that, Kawhi's cooking them. Like he's been the best player on the court by far.
Yeah, no, and that's a big adjustment that I think helped the Suns out a lot, especially in the second half. They started doubling Kawhi. Um, when Kawhi is allowed to just play one on one, he's cooking who's ever in front of him, and he's going to uh, make plays not only for himself but other people. I think his his passing and his playmaking ability has improved a whole bunch, and he's showing that in these playoffs. But I feel like he's been showing that, the past, I would say definitely this season, but also the season that he wasn't injured. I feel like he was showing improvement and he was getting better at it. The more you saw him, but I think that the Clippers were really good at denying the Phoenix Suns, especially in the first half. I think also in the second half, the Suns just like you said, just hit shots. But that's a big thing that I think from both teams. They're really denying the star players. The Clippers are denying Kevin Durant. They're denying Devin Booker the ball. They're pushing those catches out further away from the basket, and they are not allowing each other to get into the flow of their offense so easily. And I think that's a really good strategy, especially when you're going up against scores of the caliber of Kevin Durant or Devin Booker or Kawhi Leonard. But shot making and the ability to get to a spot in the mid range and rise up and shoot the ball and be efficient at it, that really helps both teams out. I mean, I think you said this last video, but they're really a mirror of themselves. It's like both teams are it's like they're looking in the mirror, especially with their two top players, Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. They take a lot of mid-range pull-ups, but they do it for a reason because they're efficient at it. They're so good at it.
They're
Um,
literally the same team. Even if you
yeah,
add Paul George, he's doing the same thing.
yeah,
Paul George,
and
it's funny.
and um, I think the Clippers really came out and they were trying to get game two. I feel like they have the perfect mindset for going up against the Suns. They're not holding nothing back. They're going at them. Uh, and Russell Westbrook, I feel like he was a big factor getting to the rim, putting pressure on the rim, putting pressure on the paint, collapsing the defense, passing the ball, kicking it out when he does, and he shot a lot better from the field than he did game one. I feel like he's been playing great these past two games, so that's good. But again, for the Clippers, I think it's going to continue to be who else can score and create offense other than Kawhi Leonard, because the Suns are going to. I feel like they're going to double him more and more as the series goes along. And like you said, for the Suns, it's can they hit shots because they're going to take those mid range shots. Uh, KD, Devin, and I'm gonna even throw Chris Paul in there because he takes a lot of mid range shots as well, especially at late in games, clutch situations, times where they need a basket. He's gonna take those shots too. The Clippers are going to not necessarily uh, like force him to be the guy, but they're going to allow him, other than Kevin or Devin, to tear them apart. They're going to give Chris Paul those opportunities to, late game situations to have to score. And DeAndre Ayton, I feel like he's, taking advantage of the pressure that's put on Kevin and Durant or maybe not pressure, but the attention that's put on Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And he's hit a lot of mid-range shots and hook shots and fadeaway shots as well during this series. But it's going back to LA. I think that the Clippers are going to play even better in LA. So the Suns are going to have to come with their A game. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how this series is going to turn out. I think the Clippers are really going to take it to them, and they're going to try and get these two games at home. And for me, man, my thing is, I just wish Paul George was playing because I feel like that this series would be that much better. But that's not what's happening. But I've been really impressed how the Clippers have come out and took it to the Suns.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they are probably one of the best teams to, go against them. They're used to playing without both Paul George and Kawhi. So it's really like nothing new to them. They have a lot of guys that play that same position. We've talked before about how they're a wing team. Like they got so many wings that aren't even playing, that haven't even touched the floor in this series. Marcus Morris and Robert Covington. They still got more in like in the back burner they need to. But yeah, one thing I want to like also touch on, like it's kind of hard to not notice how physicality really bothers Durant. Like this is the second year in a row. We saw Boston do it to him where they were just being very physical, and it kind of throws him off his rhythm. He had some slow starts. This was the first time I've seen Kevin airball like two shots in the game from mid range. Like it's really kind of hard to not notice that physicality. I remember even one of the buckets he made. He was setting up a screen, came off of it once, set it up on the left wing to come back middle to the mid range. He scored it, but he got bumped off of his path and had to reset it. So I feel like the Clippers, they're not afraid if they can be physical with Kevin Durant and continue to do that. Get them off to those slow starts when we're so used to seeing him just automatically have that rhythm and put the ball in the basket. I feel like just being able to disrupt, which I feel like is a great idea for putting Russ on them. Just disrupt them, you know, make it tough on him. Russ can be who he is. He has the extra motivation with the history. He has a lot to prove. I think they have a good game plan for success where they could possibly come out of this round instead of the Phoenix Suns. They're deeper. It's very feasible for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it really is. And like you said, with the physicality and them denying the ball and trying to push those catches out, force the Phoenix Suns to have to get their offense going and not so comfortably. They're really pressuring uh those passing lanes. They're not allowing those passing lanes to get across as easily. I think that is going to definitely affect, you know, how the rhythm and how you get into your offense. So I think you're right. The Clippers could very well come out of this. It's not as uh, you know, it's not as much of a foregone conclusion that the Suns are gonna get through this series and move on to the next round like everybody kind of thought going into it. But
I always have questions about Phoenix, low key. When
yeah,
I
you
first
did.
saw
You
it, but
did. You did. Even with us, talking about them over the course of the season, like I was like, you don't think they're gonna, you don't think they're the favorite or whatever. But you said you just had your questions, which I understand. But um, no, I think for the Clippers though, is still can't. Where do you find offense other than Kawhi? And now also Russell Westbrook getting in the paint and creating for others. Like, where are you going to get that? Norman Powell, I think he had like 10 or 12. Terrence Mann had like 10. But is there another guy that's going to get you that 15 to 20 other than Kawhi and Russ now that since Paul George isn't there?
they got
Um,
options.
huh?
They got options.
They
Bones,
got options. Yeah.
Zubac, one of them.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely can. Feel like they definitely can do that. But like you said, I think back to the Phoenix Suns, they got off to a very slow start at the beginning. Kevin and Devin, they were shooting under 50% at one point early in the game. But I, again, it comes down to them hitting shots, and that's how they started coming back towards the end of the first half, going into the second half, they just started knocking down those mid-range shots, getting to their spots, rising up, overcoming that physicality, overcoming them pushing the passing lane and or denying the passing lane, pushing the catches out further away from the basket. They just were able to overcome it with the great shot making, and Craig was knocking down 3 pointers. So it's going to be fun to watch moving forward. I think the Clippers are going to get Game 3, but that's why we play the games. We'll find out and see how it goes.
Yeah. I said Golden State and Sacramento is going to be the best series. You said Cleveland and New York. It might be this series right here. I'm not gonna lie. It's very fun to watch because it's just straight buckets. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like Clippers come down, get a bucket. Phoenix, if they're rolling, come down, get a bucket, and you're seeing the stars. Like I want to shout out Devin Booker again. His effort on defense has been very impressive to me. I'm very impressed with that. So, um, yeah, man, this has a potential to go 7. Like you said, I really wish Paul George was playing, but this is entertaining, enough as it is.
yeah. No, I think this first round in the playoffs is probably one of the most interesting first rounds that we've had in the NBA, in the history of the NBA. And this series, it really has everything you want as a basketball fan. Like it has high intensity, it has defense. If if you look at this and say that they're not playing defense out there, I don't know what to tell you. But they have great shot making. They have the superstars. They have the storylines. They have everything that you would want as a basketball fan. Me personally, I just like more of the on court stuff and the basketball stuff versus storylines, but they just they really have everything. Players are hustling. You seeing the stars, Devin Booker, Kawhi Leonard diving on the floor trying to get loose balls. I mean, it really has everything that you would like as a basketball fan.
Yeah, Russ too. Like just seeing him and KD
Yeah,
go
Rush. Yeah,
effort. He surprised me with the scoring. It's funny. He was taking the same exact shots. They were just going in.
yeah,
So
yeah.
um, yeah, man, this a good one.